Hello everybody, welcome to All Sports Weekly, episode 12. I am Trevor, and with me this week I have Kyle.
Hey mate.
Hey mate, how are you?
Yeah, good thanks.
A few technical problems. We're back in the game. Seems to be a recurring theme. Everybody, we're watching on YouTube obviously. We're also on SoundCloud. You can get us at soundcloud.com. If you just rather listen to the show and not watch it. You can reach out to me on allsportsweekly at outlook.com and Twitter at allsportsweekly. Leave any comments below if you want us to talk about something next week or, discuss anything. Just quickly, just want to read a comment out from last week from Steve Quinn. He's a sailing aficionado, a friend of the show. I was asking the question with the America's Cup last week of how fast the boats actually go. And he was saying that he watched the regatta and noticed that the New Zealand boat at one point was doing nearly 95 kilometres per hour, 94.45 kilometres per hour. So that's pretty fast for something just wind powered. I mean, I'd be pretty scared, I think, if that's...
Yeah, no, I think you'd be hanging on for dear life in those waves.
On the water too, that'd feel pretty fast, I'd imagine.
Exactly right.
Yeah, and on that one, New Zealand has won the America's Cup. They won 7-3 and now hold the oldest trophy in sport. And they'll defend that at home. I'm not sure how often they have it, every few years maybe. So another bit of silverware for New Zealand, mate.
They're getting a bit lately.
I'm not happy. The year I started podcast, the year New Zealand started to win. Now, mate, what have you been watching this week?
AFL, obviously, NRL, and just to get back in the swing before the Formula 1 season starts, doco on Netflix, Drive to Survive. Season 3 dropped on Friday.
You recommend it?
Great show.
With Series 3, you said, is that 3 Formula 1 seasons, or is it like a compact thing?
No, 3 Formula 1 seasons, so based on the last 3 seasons.
So they've been doing it, is it filmed during the season?
Yep.
Okay.
During the season, behind the scenes, talk to the drivers, they talk about contracts, all the different regs changes, so no, well worth a watch.
Is Lewis Hamilton as big of a prat as he seems?
Lewis Hamilton is a flog.
Right. We'll talk about him in a minute. He seems like he is, so behind Fly on the Wall documentary, you'd sort of know for sure.
Oh, exactly right.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. And AFL, mate, I know you were at the game, which is a bit of a sore spot, but we'll talk about that. I'm a bit sore too, mate, about the AFL, but there you go. So the AFL itself, round 1, done and dusted. I was very impressed. I saw an open game, I saw a fast game, I saw forwards in the forward line, kicking goals, I saw higher scores. Thoughts?
Yeah, look, I was very excited. It was very fast paced, very full on. I went to every game last year, at home, every Lions game. And
that's impressive.
Yeah. Oh, look, it was great
because they were all at home.
Exactly.
You went to every game.
But it was good to be there, but it didn't have the feel last year. Even the football itself didn't have the feel. Shortened quarters, it felt like you were in and out before the game really got started. And
you were rocking up early for the W when possible?
Got up to the AFLW on the weekend as well, that was good. At least we got to see a win from the Lions.
Yeah. Say like in a typical situation, so how much percentage of the crowd are rocking up early for the W, do you reckon?
Oh, look, on the other day at the Gabba...
Would it be...
Maybe 5%.
5%?
Yeah.
So not 5,000, but...
No, look, certainly not massive numbers yet
right.
for the AFLW, but I think, look, if people give it a go, they'll understand that the quality is getting very, very good, and it's well worth a watch.
Because I admit, I watched it, I don't know, a year or two ago, just on telly, and I really struggled.
Oh, look, it was horrific. When it started, it was horrific.
And I have heard it's improved. I haven't given it much. I tried to give it a go, and I was like, I'm sorry.
No, look, I don't watch a lot of the other teams, but if you watch one of the Lions games, I mean, they're kicking goals from 50 out. They're doing snaps, banana kicks. They're doing stuff I can't do.
Oh, me too, I'm sure, yeah. Also, Essendon doesn't have a team, so
no point watching.
So I don't have a stake in it.
The Lions will take you.
No, thank you. I'll be right. Fitzroy in disguise. So, okay, we'll talk about the actual games in a moment, but the big talk, Patrick Dangerfield, mate, high profile player, round 1, put a pretty good bump on, I forget his name, your boy there from Adelaide, knocked him into next Tuesday. He got 3 weeks, a lot of talk, good penalty, bad penalty. What do you reckon, mate?
Spot on for me, absolutely on the money.
3 weeks is enough?
100%. AFL brought in a new rule this year with the concussion, where now if you suffer a concussion, you're out for a minimum 12 days. So theoretically, based on that, if you got knocked out early in the game...
Well, just on that, is that a good idea? Because so I'm not an expert by any means, but they were saying with concussion, every one of them is different. Some of them where the player gets knocked out, they're actually fine in half an hour. Some of the ones where it doesn't look like much, 3 weeks later they're seeing, you know what I mean? It's really subjective and different.
Look,
is 12 days a good idea?
Look, yeah, I can understand. I read a document yesterday from a doctor saying the same sort of thing, saying that concussions are different for everybody. To do a blanket rule on one person, it's not really fair. Is
that an admission that they can't really trust the team doctors to, by putting in that mandated 12 days, is that just a way of saying, like, that's it, like, minimum?
Look, probably a lot to do with that, and a lot to do with not trusting the players as well. There's plenty of players, plenty of stories that I've heard of players sort of fudging their results, purposely answering questions wrong pre-season and slowly to try and give themselves a bit of leeway. The bar low. So
that's interesting. You'll never find a player that says they can't play. A player will always say, "I'm good." You know?
No, exactly right.
You see a boxer who's just about to get knocked out. He gets up and, I'm good, mate. You know, no worries. So yeah, okay. Now with the bump itself, I think I like the AFL's thinking. If you choose to bump, and I think the bump is an essential part of the game. It's a hip and shoulders part of the game. But if you do that, and you hit them in the head, you've got nowhere to go. I don't mind that thinking. Works for me. Do you agree with that?
Look, 100%. I mean, plenty of players can do hip and shoulders and do it right and do it without injury to anybody.
Yeah.
Then you get people that do it wrong and it doesn't work. So, look, if you're going to give it a go and you get it wrong, you live with the consequences.
I wish they'd have thought that way in the NRL with the shoulder charge. Now, the shoulder charge was one of the great parts of the game, and I miss it. I think a lot of people do. But you had a couple there where people were shoulder charging, hitting people in the head, and kind of getting away with it, and that was the league went, we can't do this. I understand that, but I wish that they'd have thought that way as, if you shoulder charge, fine, but if you hit them in the head, the penalties are severe.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's, 3 weeks is enough for him to think about it. There's a bit of a perception too, a couple of the high profile players, I know there's a thinking in the league that Selwood for Geelong could basically shoot someone on the field and get away with it. So it's interesting to see Dangerfield cop a few weeks. Geelong, I went on, so my pre-season chat, if you remember a few weeks ago, I've got them winning the comp. They come out, Dangerfield gets 3 weeks, they get out enthused by Adelaide. I'm a good pick, aren't I, mate?
No, look, Cameron's still out for a little while too, so look, they're not looking great at the moment.
So we'll quickly look at the scores, mate. So we got Richmond 105, Carlton 80. Richmond win their first round every time. We had a grub fest here with Collingwood losing to the Bulldogs. Didn't see that one, did you?
Look, watched a bit of the Bulldogs game because obviously they got Steph Martin now, kicked a goal for them on his debut. They're my sleeper this year. I don't think they'll win the flag, but I think they'll surprise a lot of teams. They'll be in the final four.
Okay, and I've got Collingwood missing the 8.
100% Collingwood will improve.
And that's not me. Yeah, that's not me being anti Collingwood. I just don't think they're that good.
No, look, they weren't that good last year, and then with all the turmoil going around the club at the moment, and with the losses that they suffered with players, no, they'll implode.
Melbourne Demon, they're my sleeper. I've been saying it. No one wants to hear it. Melbourne Demons at home beating Fremantle. I think though Fremantle are on the up this year. I like Fremantle to make the 8.
Only issue with Melbourne is which Melbourne turns up. I mean, they go good.
Well, that's
bad,
every
good,
year.
Bad. Exactly right.
You ask any Demons fan.
But they were decent last year, so on paper they should fall away this year. But whether or not they do.
Adelaide, the upset of the round we alluded to before, beating Geelong at home. I mean, the Crows, terrible last year. This has got to be a bit of a shot in the arm.
I watched some highlights of that game. They were making 3-player tackles.
I saw that.
They were going after them.
That's like a line in the sand. This year, we are better.
But what they ended up winning like the last 3 in a row, having not won a game last year. They went on a streak, so no, they're going all right.
This one we'll just gloss over is Essendon 91 defeated by Hawthorn 92. Mate, I was at the Lions, I checked the score, we're up by 40, and then I hear a bloke behind me go, oh, it's only 1 point in it. Horrible. As I've said earlier, these two teams are down the bottom this year for mine. Maybe not last, but down that way, and wins are going to be hard to come by, and Bombers to lose that one against Hawthorn.
Look, you shouldn't lose when you're up by that much, but at the same time, I think they should take some sort of satisfaction out of the fact that they were only 1 point behind Essendon. With the players they lost, they shouldn't have been in the game.
Yeah, but it's only Hawthorn.
Yeah.
That one will hurt for a while. Now, this is the one, mate. I was at the game, so were you. The Lions 94, the Swans 125. Now, everyone thought the Lions were going to win this one. Everyone thought that. Myself included. Rocked up with the wife. She's got her Swans gear on. Within 2 minutes, it's 18-0 to Brisbane. I think we're all going, okay, well, what time's the bus? And then, what happened?
Look, for me, sheer arrogance. I think the Lions went in thinking that this was a game they don't need to try for. They'll get the win, then we move on to Geelong that we've got to play this week. Haven't beat Geelong in Geelong for 18 years. So I think they just overlooked
tough
Sydney.
one this week too, yeah. Have the Lions been reading the paper maybe and we're going to be pretty good? Or?
Look, I think so. Even the talk early in the season, last year the talk was one game at a time. This year I heard interviews already where players are talking about finals and all this sort of stuff, and they need to step up and go a bit better than last year.
Might be a loss that does them well in the long run, just a little bit of a, hey, look, you know.
Look, I don't think it'll hurt us. I think it will help us in the fact that, it'll knock us back to reality, but at the same time, these are the losses, A, for the point of view where you're trying to get fans back at home. You can't lose home games. And B, there's a game we should have won. These are the ones that'll end up hurting you in the top 8 later on if it comes down to percentages and you've lost a game you shouldn't have lost.
I remember, so I'll be at the Lions' next home game the day before Good Friday against Collingwood. I remember that one a couple of years ago. The Lions, there's the biggest crowd I'd seen there in years, and they got spanked. You remember that one?
Yep.
I think that's sort of what you're alluding to is big crowd at home, and then they do that. Tough, isn't it? Sydney's young guns fired, and keep an eye. I was really impressed with the guy wearing the number 1 jersey for Sydney, a guy called Chad Warner. I looked him up. It was only his 3rd game.
Wow.
Mate, he was everywhere. I thought, who's this guy? Sign him. If you're a Sydney Swan supporter, get him on a long-term deal. He looked good to me. 3rd game, woof. Some good youth there for Sydney, so that's really good. North Melbourne 65, pretty well smashed by Port Adelaide, and everyone thinks North Melbourne are going to be down the bottom. I'm one of them. GWS, the Grants, why do they exist? No one knows. 78, beaten at home to St Kilda 86. Giants aren't in the 8 this year, mate. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think so. I think that Jeremy Cameron's the only thing that kept them in it the last couple of years. He's gone. No, I don't see them making the 8.
Maybe a mid-season first-round pick for them.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? And West Coast too strong for the Suns. Look, good week. Only round 1. Good to have the footy back. We'll know a bit more about these teams come this week. I'm looking forward to it, mate. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, this week will be another boomer.
And you're going to beat Geelong?
Look, I'm going to say yes. I think Geelong, with Jeremy Cameron not playing yet, with Dangerfield out, Brisbane coming off a belting, they'll come back.
Is that the Cattery though?
It's at the Cattery. We haven't won in 18 years.
Tough one.
But, stats are there to be broken.
Tough one. All right, mate. Just going to move on to football just briefly. We've had the FA Cup quarterfinals on the weekend just gone. This was a sore spot, mate. So Manchester United were beaten by Leicester City 3-1. Leicester City go into the semi-finals for the first time since 1982. And I have to say, they were just all over us. This was 2nd versus 3rd in the league. Not happy, mate. This was the one I thought we were going to win.
No, you never want to see your team go down.
No. Chelsea were way too strong for Sheffield United. Only 2-0, but that was pretty comprehensive. Everton tried to man up against Man City, got beaten 2-0 at home. Man City, the quadruple, mate, is still on. They could win all 4 trophies. Let's hope that doesn't happen, because I don't want to live in a world where that happens. But Man City too strong. And Bournemouth's dream run came to an end, getting beaten at home by Southampton 3-0. So the draw for the semi-finals is on this Sunday. They'll pull them out of a hat and go from there. Always interesting. Do you have any English team you follow?
I haven't watched football or soccer since about 2016, I think, when the Villains... when Aston got relegated.
Aston Villa.
Mate,
they're alright this year. They're about 8th in the league, 9th in the league.
Yeah, they're going alright, but just never got back into it.
That's
once
your
they
team.
were relegated. That's my boys.
Alright, noted, okay. Good. Oh, well, they're having a better year than, they're mid-table.
Oh, look, anytime you can stay in the Premier League, that's what you're fighting
That's what it's all about. And just quickly on the A-League, there was some games postponed with the flooding, the weather being terrible down south. The game of the round was definitely Melbourne City have beaten the top of the table Central Coast 2-0. Just significant because Central Coast league leaders, threatening to sort of go away with things. They've kept their top spot, their first, Western Sydney 2nd, Adelaide 3rd, Melbourne City 4th, Macarthur, then Sydney round out the top 6. The Raw have fallen out of the top 6. They are now in 7th, playing Western United this Saturday. I'm going to be doing a bit of All Sports Weekly Field Research Saturday, mate. I'll be going out to my first game at the new Raw ground. Been out there?
It's still Dolphin Oval?
Dolphin Oval.
Nah, look, haven't been out there since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Look, good things for Moreton Bay to have a team out there. Not that it's a Moreton Bay team, but...
No, it's not convenient for me at all.
No.
I used to be a semi-regular Raw attendee. Now I've just picked this one game, but it should be a good game. Raw and West United. West United got Barisha, who, mark my words, he's a nightmare. Like, he'll get a goal at least. I rate Barisha. But yeah, my first time out there at the new Oval, so I'll let you know how that all goes. But yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good crowd, and 10,000 at a stadium that holds 10,000 is better than 10,000 at a stadium that holds 50,000.
Oh, exactly right.
So anyway, let you know how we go there, mate. Quickly, a bit of NRL. We'll just quickly look at the games that are starting tonight, this round 3. Harder to pick than a broken nose if you're a tipster, mate.
Cracker of a week.
Cracker of a week. I'm going to just get your thoughts here, mate. The Panthers, the grand final rematch, the Panthers are playing the Storm. Both teams missing a couple of players. Who's going to win this one, mate?
Panthers for this one. Storm Storm looked good first round, but they didn't look up to scratch last week. They're not the Storm.
The Eels gave it to them.
Eels did well, yeah.
I was surprised. I did not see that one coming.
No.
Eels don't normally man up in gritty conditions like that. For the record, everyone, I reckon the Storm will beat Panthers. Just better team. I'm not as big on the Panthers as some people are, but I will say Panthers have not conceded a single point yet. That's impressive. Not one. So, not bad. Dragons are taking on Manly at home. Tough one to pick. Both teams. Manly's under pressure. Cherry Evans, highest paid player in the league.
Yeah, I don't rate Manly anymore. I think they're gone. Dragons should get that win.
Don't know if I rate the Dragons though.
No, look, they're not much better. But...
Okay. Rabbitohs and Roosters. Now this is a grudge match. Trent Robinson came out. He's not trying to douse the fire. He's actually fueling the fire. He's like, yeah, no, we don't like him.
Yeah.
This is going to be big. The oldest rivalry in the game. Tedesco versus Latrell. You know, it goes on. Just for me, it's the Roosters. I think the South's forwards. I don't know if are up to it. Victor Radley comes back. That should be an absolute belter.
Yeah, Roosters Golden Point.
Golden Point. Okay, I like it. Raiders Warriors. Raiders at home. You'd expect the Raiders there. Now, this is an interesting one. Broncos, Bulldogs. Now, can you have a battle for the wooden spoon in round 3?
Look, this year I think you can. It's no secret I'm not a Broncos fan.
No.
Don't understand why they went to Kevin Walters. Unproven as a coach as far as I'm concerned. I
You're
don't rate
preaching
the
to the
Broncos.
choir, mate. Yep.
Don't rate the Broncos. Bulldogs will get this one.
It's a tough one. I've tipped the Broncos. I need my head read. But I just can't I don't want to tip any of them. Like, really. I overheard a friend of mine through the week, she was saying, surely we can beat the Bulldogs, right? Then on a separate conversation, I've got a mate who's a Bulldog supporter, and he's like, surely we can beat the Broncos. This is an interesting one. Whoever loses this game, especially if the Broncos lose this game at home, the fans are going to turn on them like you wouldn't believe. Like, the pressure will be on. Interesting.
Oh, look, 100%.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. Eels and Sharks, mate.
Look,
our two teams.
Hart will always
How you
say
doing?
Sharks.
Yeah.
And look, and they did well last week against Canberra. Probably shouldn't have been in the game and were. But the Eels this year just look good. I can't see the Sharks getting on top of this one. So
Chad Townsend, mate. Missed 3 very gettable conversions.
He did. Confidence will be down, no doubt.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to do a better job of putting the ball under the black dot.
I like your attitude. I mean, he just looked like it when he missed that last one, the third one he missed, he just wanted to dig a hole and jump in it and cover himself up. It was over. I mean, it was wet conditions, I'll give him that, but he did miss 3 and they lost by 2. Yeah. So, Knights and Tigers, I feel like this is going to go one way. The Tigers are in a bit of a hole. The coach with a very hard stance on things. Not sure if the players are buying in. Not sure about West this year. Cowboys, Titans, big one. Cowboys under pressure. Todd Payton coming out really full on. New coach. Have you seen his coaching style?
No, I haven't had a lot to do with him.
I don't know. It's going to go one or two ways for him. he's picking out the big players, and he's right onto them publicly, and
Well, look, it's going to be the new Queensland derby, isn't it? With the Broncos all but gone, this will be the one that matters. So there'll be some there'll be a bit of love for both teams in this game, I think. But money's on Titans for me.
Righto, mate. Now, like we talked about Dangerfield earlier, Felice Kafusi, mate, with his elbow, I thought it was shocking.
Look, I don't think he got enough. I think
2 weeks.
Don't think he didn't intend to hit the player in the head, but he certainly cocked his elbow. Certainly intended to go in with the elbow.
I reckon you're being a bit light on him. I reckon he meant to get him.
Oh, really?
Mm.
No, look, you've seen players get more weeks for a head high tackle where they've been wrong-footed and just stuck the arm out.
Yeah.
This was intentional, and he gets 2 weeks.
He got him.
Way too light.
What do you got to do to get sent off?
Oh, look, exactly right. And the NRL referees boss has come out this week and urged the referees to start using the sin bin and the.
And you don't want to see this really, and the NRL's good for this really reactive, policy on the fly. They're bad for that. This week you're probably going to see someone get a love tap and get 10 weeks and sent off. Well, that's not what I'm advocating. But I'll give you Matt Checken, who I reckon's, if not the best referee getting around, one of the best. He's coached 350. He's refereed 350 games. He's sent off one player ever. Thoughts?
Probably not enough in this day and age. Look, I think probably part of it is that the referee doesn't want to make a decision that costs a team a game and turn out it was wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you've got the video referee there. Use it. Let the video referee go back, watch the footage, see whether it looks intentional, see what went into it, see where they connected, and let them make the decision. I don't see any harm in it.
Now, former player Paul Gallen, your mate, not a mate of mine, reckons 2 weeks is too harsh. Thoughts?
Look, love Paul Gallen, one of the greatest sportsmen Australia's ever produced.
Yeah, right.
Possibly with that comment.
You've been drinking again, or what?
A few too many hits to the head, I think. With
maybe if you get hit in the head enough, you think that 2 weeks is too harsh.
Look, 100%. And if that had happened to a Cronulla player, I bet he'd be screaming for 8 weeks.
Paul Gallen he's part of the problem, mate. He's not part of the solution. And quickly, Jared Hayne, what a fall from grace. I mean, what he did, I've read what's come out, the evidence. It's disgraceful. This is a guy who was arguably the best rugby league player in the country. We were so proud that one of our players could go and make the NFL. I know you're an NFL supporter. Everyone had their Hayne jerseys and all this. He's going to go to jail for rape. You want to make any comment there? I mean, it's just awful.
For me, what sort of imbecile? We know back in 2017 he got investigated in America for the same thing. Ended up settling out of court. He was sued in district court, settled out of court.
Yeah.
Then comes back to Australia and puts himself in a position. I mean, he's been found guilty by the law, but puts himself in a position to do it again. What do you think? You've gotten away with one already, basically, and you've gone and done it again.
Yeah, and the particulars, if you actually read into it, it's nasty. So, good riddance.
Oh, 100% agree.
Let's just move on from him. But yeah, one of the biggest rise and falls you'll see. So.
Yeah, sports stars need to learn. They're not above anything.
All right, mate. Now we're going to close out with Formula One. Now you're my Formula One guy. Now like I say, I have an interest, but you're all in. So the first race is in Bahrain. Do you like how I say that? Bahrain. And it's at a really easy time to watch it at 1 a.m. on Monday. do you watch it live or do you?
Oh look, I won't this season. Yeah. Have in the past. This season
you got work
not.
Yeah. So you just sort of catch up with it.
Yeah, I'll stay off social media on the day and watch the replay that afternoon.
Okay. Upcoming season, so in a nutshell, everyone's talking about McLaren. We got our man Dan there. They're coming up, but they've still got a fair bit of ground to cover before they can even think about, obviously, Mercedes and then Red Bull. Do you subscribe to that?
Yeah, look, you can't really disagree with that. I mean, they've got a Mercedes power unit this year. That's going to make a massive difference to the team.
What does that mean for the?
So their engine will be a Mercedes engine.
A Mercedes engine.
Yep.
Okay.
So that'll obviously be an upgrade from last year. They've argued for years they've got the best chassis on the grid. Red Bull would argue that's not correct.
Right.
So look, I'm expecting big things. I think they came third in the constructors last year.
They did.
Less than
but it was well third, wasn't it?
Oh well third, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything less than third this year will be a complete failure on their part.
Because my sort of dilemma is that I like Mercedes-Benz cars, and I kind of, if I have an allegiance to any manufacturer, it's probably Mercedes-Benz. However, I cannot stand Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis,
can't stand him.
Lewis is a flog.
It's a flog.
Formula One, well, all motorsports really, it's about the money that goes into it. we saw last year.
He's got the best car.
Exactly right. Look, and he was out of a race last year for COVID. George Russell, who drives for Williams, stepped in. Was milliseconds off getting pole position the first time he drove the car. Would have won the race except for a pit stop error and then a blind tyre. So jumps in the car, almost wins it first time.
First go. The car is that good.
The car is that good.
Yeah, that's it. So Hamilton won 11 races last year out of 17. Over or under this year, will he win more or less than 11 races?
Certainly won't win less. 23 race season this year.
Right.
Can't see him win. Personally, he'll win more than that, I would assume. It would take,
even in proportion. Okay, you've got 6 more races. I get it.
Yeah.
But well, he'll win.
Even in proportion, he'll win more than that. It'd take failures on Mercedes' part for him not to win the races.
It's a shame when you're going into a season and you've kind of pretty much got it all. Like, this guy's gonna win.
Yeah, look, my fear is that teams have probably not developed quite as much this year, knowing that the new regs come in next year. If that's the case, you're going to have Mercedes rolling out the same car.
So talk to me about that. So what is this? I've read this. The rules are changing next year. What is that?
So next year, massive changes. The size of the car's different. It's longer. The wheels are wider. Aerodynamically, they're going to make changes next year to reduce the aero. That's going to obviously slow down the cars, which increases opportunities for the other teams.
So the cars are going to slow down.
The plan is to slow them down, but obviously in Formula One that just means more effort to engineering.
Yeah.
We've got 3 regs coming in this year to change or to lower downforce. They're expected to lower the car's downforce by 10%, but the experts are saying that'll be more likely 4% by the time the engineers tweak their cars.
So what's the thinking? Is this to allow them to race more?
To allow them to race, allow passing opportunities, and to try and bring the field a bit closer together. They brought in a salary cap this year.
In Formula One?
Formula One, so about £150 million. Put that in comparison.
What, for 2 drivers?
Well, drivers' wages aren't included.
So
Mercedes last year spent £400 million in developing the car, so this year they're down to 150.
Mate.
So that's hopefully going to bring in more manufacturers and hopefully tighten up the field a little bit.
So Daniel Ricciardo, mate, he was 5th last year in the Renault. Did not win a race. Podiumed a few times. Now with McLaren, what's realistic? Like, expectations, what are realistic for him?
5th again.
5th.
Yeah. Sergio Perez moves over to Red Bull this year. Decent driver. Look, it'll get tough for him to settle into the Red Bull car. No second driver in Red Bull's ever done that well. But look, Perez will end up coming 4th, I think. So Ricciardo 5th.
Okay, Ricciardo 5th. So no, I was thinking he might have been, coming up a bit there.
Oh look, I'd give anything for him to win some races, and he very well may win a couple of races at the slower tracks. Monaco he's won before, should have won it twice.
So you sort of follow him around. You're a Ricciardo fan, so whatever car he's in, you're going to
follow. Formula One, my allegiance is to the driver.
What about when Ricciardo goes? Would you pick another driver, or will you have a manufacturer that you'll follow?
No, I'll go to another driver. Yeah. I was with Webber before Ricciardo. I've been with plenty of people before.
The Aussies. We got any Aussies coming up?
Nah, it doesn't look like it.
Okay. Minnow teams, you see any of them doing anything? I'm hearing this AlphaTauri look alright with Honda behind them.
AlphaTauri go alright. They've got good driver in Pierre Gasly. They've got a new rookie driver coming in this year. So the constructors, look, they're probably not going to do much better than last year with a rookie driver.
Yeah.
But Pierre Gasly will get some results again. Look, it'll all come down to car reliability in races. We saw some red flags last year in the races, which stopped the races and threw it into chaos. People that should never have won a race in their life were winning races. So hopefully we can have a bit of that again.
I hope the stewards and the officials just let them race too,
Yeah, look, they've got to let the rubbing come back into it.
Yeah, let them race. Lastly, mate, is this Lewis Hamilton's last year? If he wins this year and they're changing all the rules to bring them together, is he just going to say, I'm done, or is he...
No, look, I believe it's his last year. He's currently at 95 race wins. He'll want the 100, no doubt.
Yep.
On top of that, his arrogance, next year when the new regs come in, it's going to bring the field much closer together. He knows at the moment he's winning because of his car. He's not going to want to risk not winning. So I believe he'll pack up after this season.
All right, mate. Thank you. Interesting. All right, guys. Hope that filled you in. That's all we've got time for this week at All Sports Weekly. So thanks for that. Leave any comments below, anything you'd like us to mention. And thanks for coming on, mate.
Thanks, Trev.
Talk to you all next week. Thanks.